Overnight, a new war has just been declared.
Once again, are we about to repeat the year 2020 all over again?
Supposedly a man was kidnapped by dolphins, and what he's saying these dolphins made him do is wild.
They were creating lab-grown humans.
What?
Yeah, they were trying to replace the human race with NPCs.
Welcome to another deep dive into the unknown. Today, we venture into the strange, the creepy, and the unexplainable videos from the web that'll leave you questioning everything. Get comfortable, but don't get too cozy, because you're about to witness the eerie side of reality. Ready for the show to start? Let's begin.
检测到大规模未知生物信号，裂隙对端超过10万遗体正在穿越，请立即进入1级战备。
左腿液压杆我焊了3遍，回弹系数只拉到37%，别做急转向，听见没？
知道了。
活着回来。
嗯。
第4序列就位。第11序列弹药装填完毕，第18序列全员归位。
第10序列就位。
蛇龙渊大门开启，全体出舱。
我第一次见到他们，后来所有报告管他们叫毁机。但当时我脑子里只有一个念头：天，裂开，而且裂缝里有东西在看我。
簇拥阵列，火力覆盖，开始。
天书自动防御结翼启动。精卫编队已部署23000羽，已全部升空。天书协议运行中，毁级存活数持续下降，当前威胁评级黄色可控。
数量持续下降，这也太简单了。
不对。
第3序列后撤补位，第7序列支援，稳住。
第10序列移至破口东侧锚点，协同能量墙闭合修复。剩余精卫编队转入护巢模式。
第10序列107号收到。
107号，精卫编队剩余847羽，已全部调往支援你的坐标。他们会在你周围筑巢，直到能量墙闭合。机体结构警告，左腿即将。
闭嘴！
Welcome back everyone, and a huge thanks to our channel members for the support. Let's dive into today's video.
Overnight, a new war has just been declared. Our cup of patience has overflowed. Now it's open war between us and you. Now this was posted by Pakistan's defense minister at 3 a.m. after the country's military carried out a significant wave of strikes across the country of Afghanistan, including on their capital city of Kabul and even their government facilities. Now that is a serious development. You see, the bordering countries agreed to a ceasefire last year, with NATO peacekeeping troops even being withdrawn. But today, that all changed. Pakistan's defense minister accused the Taliban of aggression, gathering all the terrorists of the world in Afghanistan and depriving the country's own people of their basic human rights. He said, "Our cup of patience has overflowed. Now it's open war between us and you. We are your neighbors. We know your ins and outs. Allahu Akbar." Yeah. Another day, another war. Now, it's important to note that both sides accuse each other of starting this. Also, their militaries are not exactly equal. Pakistan is one of the few countries in the world to hold nuclear weapons, and they consistently rank among the world's top 15 militaries in terms of strength. And while Afghanistan lacked that same military equipment, they do have extensive experience in guerrilla warfare. Their former president said on X, the Afghans will defend their beloved homeland with complete unity in all circumstances. As things develop, I'll keep you guys updated.
Watch this.
The two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky, all day long.
They are all lying to you, and here is your proof. Be right back.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary, short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on the short-term.
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 Short-term. Short-term and long-term.
Short-term blip.
Make sure you get this out there like wildfire. Here's the problem. Mostly everybody in America is brainwashed. Fear-mongering, right? No, it's the truth. And they say, oh, you're watching the wrong news station. It's all of them. Don't y'all remember what Operation Mockingbird is? We'll get to this in 1 second. Let me make this clear for people who still believe their TV screen. If you don't have independent journalists on the ground in these locations, you're going to be out of the loop and completely unaware of anything that's happening. I have those things, and so do other people. There is no right media station. But yeah, shoot the messenger as always. Listen.
States, you just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks.
The next 2 weeks meaning what?
We're going to blow the hell out of these people. This regime is in a death row now. It is going to be on its knees. It's going to fall. And when it falls, we're going to have peace.
When it falls, we're going to have peace. When they say peace and safety. Parallels as always. Get this out there. Let me know what you think. Why do all these people still believe what's on their TV screen?
The war is getting pretty ugly out there. And the news telling people it's for a short term doesn't make it seem good. We always know the news is fake and to not always trust them. All in all, I hope y'all are doing great out there.
Okay guys, serious breaking news. It is happening. The US and Israel have carried out major strikes on Iran. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, this one is different. This is not a single operation like we saw from the US last year. And in Trump's own words, this is a massive and ongoing operation. He even referred to this as a war at one point in his 8-minute speech announcing these attacks. 5 Iranian cities have been bombed and Iran have already responded by firing missiles towards Israel. Trump said that Iran have missiles that can now reach Europe and soon the US homeland, so they cannot tolerate Iran ever having nuclear weapons. He then directly addressed Iranian armed forces, saying, lay down your weapons and you'll be given full immunity or face certain death. He then said that we're going to annihilate their navy, destroy their missiles, and raise their missile industry to the ground. He then, and this is where things get serious, he then addressed the Iranian people. He's saying that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay in your homes. It's going to be very dangerous. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. So this does seem to be an operation that will last into the foreseeable future. And then he said, when we are finished, take over your government. This is to the Iranian people. It is yours to take, and this will probably be your only chance for generations. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. This is your one moment for action. Do not let it pass. This is what I said. This is not like last year. And even Netanyahu, he released a statement and he kind of echoed the same sentiment. He said to the people of Israel, their own citizens, he said, in the coming days, in Operation the Roar of the Lion, sorry, my arm is shaking, we will be all required to have endurance and fortitude. Now, as we all know, in recent weeks, we saw the largest buildup of US military in the Middle East since the 2003 Iraq War. And now we're finding out exactly why. Make sure you guys follow because there's going to be a lot of updates in the coming hours and days. I'll see you soon. Okay guys, things are getting pretty scary in Minneapolis right now, to the point where Trump is threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act and deploy the military, while Tim Walz, the state's governor, has activated the National Guard. So here's what's going on. As you would have heard by now, yesterday there was yet another fatal shooting of a US citizen by an ICE agent, and the man has now been identified as registered nurse Alex Perkyy, who also happened to be 37 years old, the same age as Renee Good, who was killed earlier this month. And very similar to that incident as well, federal officials are framing this as a defensive shooting, while state officials are suggesting this is straight up murder. And if you guys thought tensions were high before, you should see what is happening today. Hundreds of protesters have taken to the streets in freezing temperatures, clashing with federal agents, demanding ICE to leave Minneapolis now. One person was arrested after allegedly biting off the fingertip of a federal agent, and I mean off. They posted pictures and everything. There were even reports of demonstrators setting up barricades around city blocks. And that's particularly significant because a national security analyst spoke with News Nation, and they said that these barricades could be used as a legal predicate for Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act and deploy active duty military onto the streets of Minneapolis. And this is all while the local police have requested the assistance of Minnesota's National Guard to support the deputies in this growing unrest. So imagine a situation here where you have the National Guard, local police, ICE agents, and army troops all in the same city. There's even an Antifa member going viral right now on X calling for people to suit up, arm themselves, and he said that he is not talking about peaceful protests anymore. So yeah, a lot could unfold in the next few days. So as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
It's all crazy what's happening in the USA with all that chaos and destructions going on apart from the war. Y'all better buckle up for some few tough months ahead, because it seems it's going insane out here looking at how things are going.
We've officially entered the second week, and some truly apocalyptic scenes are coming out of Iran right now. So here's everything you need to know. Overnight, Israel carried out large strikes targeting Iran's oil refineries and storage facilities for the first time. This caused enormous fires and plumes of thick black smoke that filled the skies of Tehran. The fires were so bright that one resident told the BBC it was as if night had turned into day. But when morning came, it was the opposite. Thick, dark clouds blocked out the sun, and a CNN reporter on the ground showed that the rain had blackened and appeared to have become saturated with oil.
But you can see that the rain water is actually black, also saturated, it appears, with oil. And then if we look over there, you can see that the water that's running down here, this sort of oil filled rain that we have right now.
Similar shocking scenes came out of Kuwait, where a large government building was engulfed in flames after being hit by a suspected drone amid a wave of Iranian strikes on the country. Yesterday in Dubai, passengers were taken into tunnels and flights were briefly suspended after a drone struck nearby. Cautions over the weekend were heightened for terror attacks after a Southwest Airlines flight was diverted to Atlanta in response to a possible security matter.
Yeah, this time we need everybody to have their heads down and hands up. Heads down, hands up.
Stand up. Stand up.
The US Embassy in Oslo, Norway was hit by an explosive early Sunday morning, causing minor damage but no injuries, while in New York, 2 people were arrested after igniting suspicious devices during an anti-Islam protest. All 3 cases are still under investigation. The Israeli military came out and warned that it will pursue every successor of Iran's former supreme leader. Trump claimed that the US has sunk 42 Iranian ships in just 6 days, and that he also couldn't care less anymore which ally countries help in the war, saying it's a little late. And lastly, because much of the Middle East is just dry desert, freshwater distillation plants are now being targeted. Bahrain claimed that an Iranian drone attack caused damage to one of their plants, while Iran themselves are accusing the US of bombing one of their own in Qasem Island, calling it a blatant and desperate crime. See you all tomorrow for day 10.
Once again, are we about to repeat the year 2020 all over again? And why do I say that? Because the norovirus is currently running rampant, and notifications like this are starting to appear all over schools due to children being sickened by the norovirus. And doctors have already come out and stated that this could be worse than what ravaged us in 2020. Because one of the main problems is there is no cure for this. There's no antibiotic for the norovirus. And there's no way for physicians to treat it away. And the problem with it is that it spreads so quickly. And this is very easily contracted, especially when you're in large groups or in areas where people and the germ exists. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with what the norovirus is, I will step away from the screen so you can pause and read. Doctors have also passed this information along. Your symptoms can develop within the first 12 to 48 hours after you've been exposed to the norovirus. Also, they want you to contact your physician if you feel any of these symptoms listed next to me. Wash your hands, take care of your health. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
I have seen so many people do this, so here's my 2026 predictions of what I think is going to happen this year. Okay, number 1, there is going to be an announcement that Britney Spears has died, and it is going to be the biggest conspiracy of 2026. P. Diddy is going to end up back on trial before he is released, and he is going to be charged with further charges. But I also think that he is not going to end up back on trial alone. I think other people are going to be dragged in, including one of his sons. And I think as a consequence, he will get extra jail time on top of what he's already got. GTA 6 will be delayed, there will be an announcement, and it won't be released this year either. Tyler Robinson will be found guilty of the murder of Charlie Kirk. However, I think once the trial is over, new evidence is going to be pushed to light, and I think it's going to change the whole case. Is it going to be something that Candace Owens reveals? Maybe. And the last one, and the most important one, Sarah's After Dark podcast will be dropping. It will be very successful and very popular. Keep your eyes peeled, because I'm dropping a launch date really soon.
It's crazy how we are seeing all these viruses occurring all over the world. Just the other day, we had that outbreak of some virus in India. It's getting insane out here, and I urge you all to take care. But what do y'all think of the prediction?
If you have been waiting on GTA 6, you might want to watch this video. Rockstar just released some crucial news, y'all. Now, this is something that all of y'all are going to want to hear. But don't get too excited. Let's look at what Rockstar has just came out and said. Hi everyone, you see the Rockstar right here. Grand Theft Auto 6 will now release on Thursday, November 19th, 2026. We're sorry for adding additional time to what we have realized has been a long wait. Oh yeah, we know. But those extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you have come to expect and deserve. We want to thank you again for your patience and support. While the wait is a little longer, because they delayed it again, we are incredibly excited for players to experience the sprawling state of Lanoda and a return of modern-day Vice City. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. So they delayed it again. But the good part about it is this. We actually have a set date. I'm sure we had a set date back then. But now we got another set date. Do y'all think that Rockstar is going to delay this game again? Now, the last time Rockstar has came out and said something, I most definitely say, yeah, Rockstar's gonna delay it again. This time, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna delay it. But this is what they also did. Rockstar took the game completely out of the Xbox store and the PlayStation store. For what reason, I don't know. But they in fact did that before they came out with this statement, which was today. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Are y'all excited for GTA 6? And do y'all think GTA 6 is officially gonna drop on the date that they just listed? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Like and follow for more.
They were creating lab-grown humans. What? Yeah, they were trying to replace the human race with NPCs, pretty much humans with no consciousness, so that they could control and manipulate their minds. Bill Gates and, of course, Jeffrey Epstein and the whole gang. It was a huge network.
Stephen Hawking.
They were using cloning facilities. They were running cloning factories.
Do you think they pulled it off? Do you think they created a...
Well, you know, a lot of these politicians are those. Yeah, like, sorry to say this, Sleepy Joe, you know, is not the original Joe, and there's ample evidence of the original Joe was taken out years ago.
2019, right? That was in the files.
Yeah, that was in the files, and I think even Trump did reveal that through social media.
I'm very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. She was born yesterday at 11:55 a.m. in the country where she was born. So this will not give you more details about the location. She's fine. We call her Eve between us. You knew that, of course. Some suggested it, and I thought it was a good idea, actually. You won't have the right name. And, you know, for a long time, I thought that this press conference will be with the baby, the parents, the scientists, everybody surrounding me, and having pleasure announcing it. I'm alone. And there is a reason to that, is that it hasn't been easy to face the world with this announcement. And we have been discussing with the parents the last 3 months how we would handle today. And they decided not to show up yet. They will. I hope they will. And I wish them well. We started really to work with human eggs in January of this year. So it took us 3 months to finalize, and this is very short, and that's why I said, is it luck or is it hard work? I do believe it's hard work. But we had really good success very quickly and refined the technique for human eggs until spring, where we started to have implantation. We had 10 implantations. And 5 of them during the first 3 weeks were terminated spontaneously. 5 others were successful and are still successful. The first one was born yesterday. The next one is due in Europe next week.
Trans women getting pregnant is not as far off as you'd think. In the past 10 years, 50 babies have been born from a uterus transplant. How this works is a person with a damaged or missing uterus gets a new uterus. Then they get pregnant, then they give birth to a child via C-section. The implanted uterus is then removed so that the person doesn't need to be on anti-rejection meds for the rest of their life. So far, these implants have only been attempted on cis women, but there's nothing that says it couldn't work on a trans woman. After all, my hormone levels are pretty similar to a cisgender woman, so why not? The main thing in the way is that the science is new, so there aren't enough surgeons out there to do the testing. So it's less about if we can do it and more about when we can do it. Imagine a trans woman using her own DNA along with her partner's egg to create life. Wouldn't that be incredible? Some researchers think it's already possible and that it'll be attempted in the next year or 2. Now, to be clear, I don't want kids. And even if this was an option, I wouldn't be interested. But there are so many trans women out there who want this, and they have just as much of a right to pregnancy as anyone else. Let's get this thing off. Oh. See, it was fake.
Quite some creepy but fascinating medical breakthroughs right there. But I don't think some of those things should even be legal. I mean, human clone babies and transgenders giving birth. That's just insane. Drop your thoughts down below.
What I'm going to tell you today is that next month we're going into human clinical trials to test for the first time in history whether we can reverse the aging process and cure diseases. We can tackle aging because we now believe we understand why we age. And it's not wear and tear. It's not that we just wear out like a car. Our bodies are not like cars. Our bodies are more like computers that can be programmed and reprogrammed and rebooted to be young again. We are like computers, not machines. One analogy, and hopefully you all remember what a compact disc is. We think aging is like scratches on a CD. The DNA is the music, so we get beautiful music when we're young, but when we get old, we cannot read the beautiful music. Our cells do not read the DNA correctly, so the cells, they become lost, they become confused, and our old cells do not make the right proteins and they get diseases. This, we believe, is aging. But what's amazing is we found that you can polish the CD, you can get rid of the scratches and rejuvenate cells so they're young again. And to put it another way, you can reinstall the software of the body so that it's young again. We can quite literally, in my lab, reverse the age of cells and of very complex organs and tissues, including the eye, the most complex, and the brain. We can reverse aging by 75% in 6 weeks. We actually were able to show that using this method, we could cure blindness in animals for the first time. We could cure blindness. And the world reported just last week that the US FDA regulatory body cleared the way for the first age reversal human trial. It's a big deal. The FDA is very supportive. And we will know this year, maybe in the next few months, if age reversal works.
Supposedly a man was kidnapped by dolphins, and what he's saying these dolphins made him do is wild. So a 33-year-old man was found disoriented and sunburned on the Sanibel Causeway early Monday morning, claiming he was abducted by a pod of dolphins and forced to labor on an elaborate underwater construction project. Yup. Now, Lee County Sheriff's Office deputies got a call around 5:45 a.m. from a passing motorist who spotted Ricky James Hollowell standing barefoot on the shoulder of the causeway, drenched in seawater and frantically sketching diagrams in the wet sand. A severe sunburn covered his upper body and what appeared to be minor abrasions on his hands and feet, consistent, he later claimed, with handling coral and structural materials underwater. Okay, now according to the official incident report, Hollowell recounted being approached by a group of bottlenose dolphins while swimming recreationally off Fort Myers Beach on Friday afternoon. He said they surrounded me like a security detail. He said it wasn't aggressive at first, but they nudged him deeper away from the shore. Before he knew it, he was at a site about 40 feet down in the Gulf, helping them build what looked like a full-scale aquatic habitat. What? Now, the man described the dolphins communicating via a complex series of echolocation clicks and whistles, which he said he picked up on after a few hours. Now, he identified the apparent leader of the pod as Gerald, a large male dolphin with distinctive scarring on its dorsal fin. He referred to him as the project foreman. So deputies were like, "How did you breathe underwater?" Ricky replied cryptically, "Gerald handled the breathing part, some kind of bubble system or pressure adaptation. I didn't ask too many questions. You don't question Gerald. He's got that authoritative vibe." But it gets crazier. Deputies noted that the sand sketches were remarkably detailed, spanning roughly 10 feet across, including scaled blueprints for what resembled a submerged community, multi-level condo structures made from natural coral and synthetic-like materials, a central town square with gathering pods, and even a recreation center. The fuck? The guy's diagrams had zoning regulations penciled in, setbacks, load-bearing specs, even environmental impact notes. He was then released Sunday evening after dolphins deemed his contribution satisfactory, with Gerald allegedly signaling that they might return for phase 2. He then swam back to shore, disoriented from exhaustion, and hitchhiked partway to the causeway before collapsing. So they send this guy to Lee Memorial Hospital for evaluation, where he's treated for dehydration and sunburn, but there was no DRUGs or alcohol in his system. He was also cleared with a clean bill of health, reporting no signs of delirium, psychosis, or head trauma that could explain these hallucinations. Or were they? Now, however, a routine chest x-ray and a fluid analysis revealed trace amounts of Gulf seawater in his lungs, specifically saline levels matching samples from 30 to 50 feet offshore, with microscopic marine particles like diatoms and plankton residue. Dude was working underwater. Now, the crazy thing is Ricky did this for a living. He specialized in underwater construction and bio-inspired engineering. It's like Gerald knew. Now, the police can't explain this. There's just too many details. But this has got to be one of the coolest stories I've ever heard in my life. Dolphins are the shit, and they chose Ricky to come build with them. Wild.
What do the dolphins even what building for? That's just crazy. Some people say dolphins and have intelligence like humans, but I don't know of what he said. Subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the video so that dude don't miss out.
Did you guys see the news about the guy who claimed to have been kidnapped by dolphins? I'm here with a story for y'all. Basically, some guy was found on shore, basically looking delirious, confused, and dehydrated. He was drawing very elaborate things on the sand that looked like cities and towns and condos, all that stuff. He was then picked up to where he told the authorities that he had been kidnapped by dolphins. It was a regular day for him and he'd been swimming around when suddenly he got kidnapped and dragged about 40 feet down into the water. He claimed that the dolphins were able to communicate to him via clicks, that there was a main general dolphin who was basically responsible for helping him breathe underwater. I believe his name was Gerald. I believe, according to him, he was taken under for 3 days, where basically he was forced to work and build a city under the sea. And remember the blueprints that he was drawing in the sand? Yeah, they were very elaborate and, not gonna lie, a little concerning. So the crazy thing is, after he reported all of this to the deputies, he was sent to a hospital. And this is where things get interesting, because he's not delirious, there has been no trauma to the head, so there's no sign of mania or psychosis, and things obviously keep getting weirder because they do several tests on this man. Well, they did found marine particles and seawater in his lungs, which could only happen if you had exposure to seawater for a long time. And his lungs were perfectly fine, almost as though he had been underwater for 3 days and somehow still breathing. And what's fascinating as well is that this guy does have a master's in aerospace engineering. It's almost like the dolphins already knew exactly who to pick. I don't know if you guys are familiar with conspiracy theories about dolphins and stuff and how they hold ancient secrets, and people, the population, were not allowed to communicate with them. Not only are dolphins known to be incredibly smart, but very spiritual beings. So I did a little bit more research into the whole situation and I found a news article talking about it. What I do find interesting about the news, they reported his reports, him talking to a deputy, or him going to the doctor. However, the people of the news are saying that this is fake and that this never happened, and that it was just some random man on Facebook who just spread this story, and that it's misinformation being spread. But I don't know though, let me know what you guys think of this story.
So now you're telling me that a group or a pod of dolphins are kidnapping grown-ass men and making them go underwater to build their underwater cities and structures? At this point, I'm not even surprised. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in Lee County, Florida, yes, Florida, a grown-ass man was found on the beach by authorities soaking wet, dehydrated, and confused is what the statement says. But the weird part was he was drawing these detailed diagrams in the sand when the authorities showed up. But that's not even the best part of the story. He claims that when he was out swimming, a pod of dolphins came and kidnapped him. But they didn't kidnap him for like a ransom or anything. No, they kidnapped him and they took him 40 feet underwater to force him to build their underwater city. Now, if you're anything like me, I'm sure your first thought is, well, how did he breathe? And here's the answer. He claims in the statement that there was a head dolphin, an alpha dolphin, and this dolphin's name was Gerald. And Gerald was communicating to him through clicks and telekinesis, and also helping him breathe underwater. Gerald was helping him breathe underwater by a bubble-like system. Gerald sounds pretty cool. I bet you thought this story couldn't get any crazier. I've got your crazy. He claims he was down there for 3 days helping them build their underwater city. 3 days! And after those 3 days were up, he claims that they told him that they were satisfied with his work, so they took him back to the surface. But they told him, we'll be back. We'll be back for you for phase 2. I'm sure if you're still here watching the video, you're like, oh, he was most likely on or drunk. And that was what I thought. But when he got to the hospital and they ran all the tests, this is what's absolutely nuts. Yes, he was dehydrated, but there were no alcohol in his system, and there were no head contusions or blunt forces to the head or any signs of any kind of mental illnesses. they did find marine particles and seawater in his lungs that indicated that he had been at a deep underwater level for a long time without any lung damage. Now, if you're wondering, why him? Why did they choose him? It's because, and he says this in his statement, they chose him because he has a master's degree in aerospace engineering and is extremely knowledgeable in underwater technology. And that's the reason Gerald chose him. And I'm not going to lie, I believe him. I've always heard that it's illegal to communicate with dolphins, but what on earth do you call it when they kidnap you to go build their underwater cities?
Speaking of Jim Carrey, do you know what his entire career was for? So of course we know the interview from last night with him speaking French was not him. I can't play that video because copyright. But obviously the eyes don't move no matter how much work you get done. But what would you do if I told you that they used his career to make fun of us behind all of our backs and he was aware of it? Maybe that's why he got so crazy.
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream.
There's just things happening. And there are clusters of tetrahedrons moving around together.
A movie inside a movie, I guess you could say. Maybe why he distanced himself from the character of Jim Carrey? Obviously, that needs nothing. But right here, you can see he's wearing a mask, wearing a character. Because all these people, as he said himself, are nothing but characters. Oddly very close to Black Phone 1 and 2, where Ethan Hawke was the actor who put the mask on before he did really devilish things. And the mask just looked awfully a lot like the Island Guy. And then to The Truman Show, when he was in an actual show, everyone was watching him, they were all in it except for him, like us, you get it? And then he found the outer wall. The outer wall. Because behind this wall was freedom. So his entire career was about us being stupid, and all of them using masks to change who they are, and quite literally changing who they are. Then finally he went crazy and said he wants us all to be in on the joke.
Is that gang sign that you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is.
I have no idea.
You don't know, Jimmy Fallon doesn't know, David Letterman doesn't know. For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile, so you don't know what's really going on. Look at them trying to, they're trying to turn us into consumer drones of some sort. I just gotta get this. Yeah, listen, I'm in the middle of blowing the lid off some
And then he said that he wanted all of us to be in on the joke. Then all of a sudden, not too long later, by the way, his wife passes away. Totally not suspicious whatsoever. And now we got people popping up saying they're him with completely different eyes. I mean, it's just wild. What do y'all think happened to him? Let me know.
Shout out to Moon Henry for the great video right there. A lot has been going around the internet. People saying he is a clone or reptilian based on the shows he has been appearing. But I don't think so. Tell us what you think down below.
He warned us. Check this out.
If I ever shave my face again, you'll know. It's not our world.
None of this is real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't matter. We don't matter.
Then I watched everybody talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
People are already over the shit that happened with Jim Carrey, and it's sad, bro, because he was telling us that something's going on if I look different, if I act different, and he never gave a fuck about the award shows, and yet people are just over it, acting like nothing happened. Y'all need to wake the fuck up, bro. Look at his eyes. They're green, bro.
If I showed you what I've already seen people do when the pineal gland is activated, you would understand why Hollywood tried to silence me. When this inner eye opens, a human being gains access to things most people believe are science fiction. Clairvoyance, telekinesis, manifestation through the power of the mind. And I know it sounds crazy, I know, but this isn't a movie. The CIA has been using this for decades. I saw things I should never have seen. I was in places I should never have been. And for 17 years I stayed silent. Parties at the Rothschild mansions in Waddesdon, solstice meetings with the Rockefellers at Bohemian Grove. I saw with my own eyes how 13 families control 8 billion people. Banks, media, governments, everything. And do you know what the objective is? Just one, to keep everyone blind, weak, and obedient. That's how they've stayed at the top for 300 years. And to make sure no one could activate this eye naturally. In 1958, the Rockefellers approved the Food Additives Amendment. They gave companies permission to put additives in the food of every American, saying it was to preserve food. But it was never about preservation. It was about calcifying the pineal gland of the entire population. They don't want superhumans. They don't want people with real abilities. They want us dumb, distracted, trapped inside the system they created. And let me ask you something. Do you really believe these people would still be in power if our pineal glands were functioning at 100%? Of course not. It's obvious. In 1954, the CIA received a mission from the Rockefeller family, find out whether a human being could develop spiritual abilities. And almost no one knows this, but 1 year later, in 1955, a silent race began. Germany, England, the United States, everyone chasing the same goal, activate the third eye and create real super soldiers. And it was a CIA agent who found the technique and delivered it to the most powerful family in the world. The mission was a silent success. And since then, they've kept it secret. Today, only 3% of Americans have their third eye activated. I shouldn't be saying this here, but there is a private video circulating online that only a few people can see, where a former CIA agent explains exactly how anyone can activate the pineal gland and open the third eye in 3 minutes. If you find that video, watch it until the end and learn it.
Just this, an insane belief in my own ability to manifest things. Insane belief, that I think it's ultimately complete sanity. But I believe we're creators, and I believe we create with every thought and every word. Every moment is pregnant with the next moment of your life.
Jim Carrey was really trying to open our minds to the truth, and most people took it as jokes because of his nature. But I truly believe what he was saying is all true. Shout out to him for the wise words, and let's continue with the rest of the video.
That's it. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is a man!
There's literally no one telling you the truth about what's going on with Jim Carrey, except me. I'm fighting millions and millions of Masonic truthers and people that just don't get it. So let me show you something. Funny how Jim posted this not too long ago. It says, "No one knows me." And can you see how that nose and that nose look the same and these two noses look the same? Well, let's see who they belong to. I did this video a year ago. Oh, Keanu Reeves. And Keanu Reeves, that makes sense. Now let's see who these belong to. This one, oh, Jim Carrey. Okay, so this must be Jim Carrey, right? Oh, wait, it's Keanu Reeves. And funny how he's done a movie with split personalities. But it's not just that. Also done a movie called The Mask. Oh, no, that's a funny way to hold your hat. I wonder what that hand symbol means. It's a 3 because a third of the fallen angels are here. And he's one of them. Keanu too. And Finkel is Einhorn and Einhorn is Finkel. And I'm not saying they're the same person. They're two different fallen angels and they play each other. It's mockery. It's to just make you feel like an idiot. Honestly, I think part of it's boredom because they've been here thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and they tell us that. Most of you just think they're joking.
There's a big conspiracy theory that you're not aging because you're immortal. Is that why your movies feel like an eternity?
You've seen the pictures, right? The ones that look just like them from the olden days.
Where do ideas come from? I know, yeah. So that's a very deep question. Where do they? Yeah. It came to me of just. But were you on a character that could punch people through the chest? Yeah. And then, like, what if they were half god, half immortal? And then, what if they were alive for 80,000 years? What would you do with this idea?
Not just Keanu, who's been around a long. Did you ever see my video on George Jones, born in 1931, but probably not, probably thousands of years ago, like 80,000 years ago? Yeah, George Jones that looks suspiciously like Jim Carrey. So much so that I bet you can't even really tell which one's Jim. Well, it's a trick. They both are, down to the butt, chin, the same style and glasses, the exact same nose and lip center, but that's George Jones. George Jones and Jim Carrey. George Jones pulled over drunk in 1982. And here's Jim Carrey drunk in the movie Yes Man. Notice their facial expressions. This is a reenactment of this because they love to mock us and do predictive programming, and they're bored because they've been here for 80,000 years, probably even longer. Look at these faces. And what language was it that he was speaking at that award ceremony, looking oh so mask-like?
Que vous incarnez.
Oh, it was French. That's right. You know who speaks French really well? Make sure you notice the hand symbol he gives at the end. It doesn't mean I love you.
Chant et drôle. Vous allez adorer.
Oh, that one too. Do you see that one?
Merci, au revoir, et bon ciné.
They're fallen angels, my friends. And they always tell us. That's Keanu's most recent movie of a fallen angel to Earth who needs to redeem himself to get back to heaven. They aren't taking out any celebrities. That whole narrative of they're executing them at Guantanamo Bay, it's nonsense. So you think there's good guys in charge, and don't worry, we got it covered. You just sit right back and enjoy the show. It's all a show. No, it's all a bunch of fallen angels deceiving humanity because they're mad at us. Because we're here for a little experience, and then we go back to the angelic realm, and they're stuck here. They're stuck here because they're prideful little babies, and they wanted all of us to worship them instead of the Most High. And guess what? That's exactly what's going on, because most of you spend a lot more time worshiping these false idols than our Heavenly Father. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. I don't really believe in any of this stuff. No, I think Finkel and Einhorn as Finkel definitely wasn't just predictive programming of Jim Carrey playing Keanu Reeves and Keanu Reeves playing Jim Carrey and them having a good old laugh at you because they're so bored because they've been here for 80,000 years. Entertainment only. And stop listening to any single person at all that are trying to tell you that there are clones, because clones don't exist. They created the clone psyop and told you that Dolly the sheep and a bunch of dogs were clones, so you would believe in clones instead of these guys.
If you've ever been curious about what these astral entities look like that I sometimes talk about, like the actual freaks in the astral that laugh at you, like the Nephilim clown energy, here is a really good video highlighting it, and this was sent to me. And when it was sent to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what you can see in the astral.
Analysis shows that these metal implants contain both osmium, which is one of the rarest elements on Earth, and cadmium. And these medical implants are fused into their living tissue, which means that these implants were placed on their body while the host was still alive. Either these mummies belong to a real, unknown, non-human species that lived alongside ancient Peruvians, or they are imitations. And if they are human-made bodies built to resemble beings that Peruvians 1800 years ago believed in, what was the original presence that they were trying to imitate?
How big is the universe really? The observable universe, everything we can see, is 93 billion light years wide. If it were the size of the United States, our Milky Way galaxy, home to hundreds of billions of stars, would be the size of a car. Do you understand how insane that is? On this scale, our entire solar system, the sun, all 8 planets, everything, would be the size of a single virus, and the Earth smaller than an atom. Now imagine living on a world smaller than an atom and trying to cross the entire United States. Even if we could travel at the speed of light, the absolute speed limit of the universe, after an entire year we'd only move half the width of a human hair. To travel just 1 meter on this map would take 21,000 years, and our actual spaceships can't even get close to the speed of light. And here's the really scary part. This isn't even the whole universe, just what we are able to see from Earth. The universe beyond our bubble is estimated to be at least 250 times larger than what we can observe, and growing evidence suggests it could even be infinite. And if you want to learn how they figured that out, then make sure you're following.
And there you have it. That might have been one of the most unsettling collections of videos we've ever shown on ChillSpot. Let me know in the comment section below and leave a like if you like this episode. If you made it this far, you got nerves of steel, and we thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, because next time we're bringing even more bone-chilling videos your way. Until then, stay brave. Peace, y'all.